Hey everybody, it's Keith with the L1 Automotive Training Channel, and today we have a rant/diagnostic video. ...2011 Ford Fusion, customer calls, it's a shop. They call and they say, we put the entire kitchen sink on this car, we put all the parts, we put a whole AC kit on this thing, every single thing there is on it. It's got to be a PCM, come out and program it, and then, if that doesn't fix it, we'll get a PCM to program and put it in there. And we said, no, it doesn't need a PCM. Nope, send it to us, we're going to diag it first. It doesn't need a PCM, I promise you. And what's funny is this is days after I just posted on Facebook a PSA, no, it doesn't need a PCM. That's what I put. I put PSA, no, your car doesn't need a PCM. And the funny thing is about out of the over 1,000 modules we programmed last year, over 2,000 modules we programmed last year, less than 22% of those programming events fixed the car. And that's for other shops. So it's kind of frustrating for us, all of us. We diagnosed this car in under 5 minutes. We kind of knew it was wrong already. We've seen this exact problem quite a few times, knew exactly what to check. You're not paying for our time when we diagnose things. You're paying for our knowledge, our training, our tooling. You're not paying for an outcome or time. That's not how this works. So what we charge to diagnose this is because we've put in all the effort, time, tooling, and training. Anyways, I'm going to show you what we did. I'm going to show you that. So semi-rant over, but just so we're clear, stop saying things need PCMs. Sometimes they do, most of the time they don't. All right, so the car came to us and they said we put all the stuff in and the AC compressor doesn't turn on. So I'm going to show you what I'm looking at. We're going to turn on this car. It's fucking snazzy, right? Woo! I'm so hyped up, I'm pretty sure it's the first time I've cussed on camera. This is going to be a good video. All right, so I've got the RD-Diag Pro. This is a sub $600 scan tool top down. You could do this with a $200 Actron reader. If it will show you live data in the powertrain control module, you can probably diagnose this car. So, first thing I want you to see is that static pressure is 80 psi. This car has two problems. It's low in refrigerant plus the problem. It being this low in refrigerant does not stop the compressor from turning on. That is not the problem with this car. It's low in refrigerant because whoever charged it didn't charge it all the way. And we tested it, and I'm going to show you. So, we go to the car. We pull up some data PIDs. The car's just keyed on. So we have air conditioning, clutch output fault detected, no error. We have the AC pressure sensor and PSI, 0. The AC condition compressor command state, off. The engine's off. And air conditioner pressure sensor voltage, 1.06. That's the voltage readout from this sensor. That data is calculated by the PCM to create that. And then air conditioning request signal, no. So, it's not requested on. Let's start the engine. Okay, engine running. We can see that the AC air conditioning request signal is yes. So, the AC switch is on the dash, and it says yes. But we see the air conditioning compressor command state is off. The PCM is not commanding the relay. So, stop. At this point, I do not need to check powers and grounds and relays and all that stuff. I've got to check inputs. Everything on a car works on inputs, programming, outputs, IPOs. So, I'm going to shut this off so we can hear it for a second. There's inputs to the PCM to tell it all kinds of conditions of the vehicle. Then the PCM looks at those inputs and with its programming determines what to output control, what relays, what functions to turn on and off, what solenoids to pulse width command, all those things. So there's a bunch of inputs to the powertrain control module for the air conditioning system, and one of them is not correct. So the PCM is not commanding the AC clutch relay. This shop put a whole AC kit on there. I don't know why. Maybe the AC was exploded and it needed this kit. I don't know I'm not saying they did all the other things wrong. What I'm telling you is that this doesn't need a PCM. And here's what's going on. Because it was right there on the screen. All you technicians that are doing this have read it before. Oh, let me turn the key back on. All right. That is a bad view of me. All right. So we're going to go back and reselect. Okay. So you can see that the AC pressure transducer reads 1.06 volts and 0 PSI. Why is that weird? Well, Most pressure transducers for AC systems are approximately 1 volt per 100 psi. So on most vehicles, 1.06 volts is 106 psi. The Fusions, for whatever reason, used a pressure transducer that is scaled differently. So 1.06 volts is 0. What I can tell you is if you look up the service information, that's step 1, look up the service information. How does this system work? How does this thing work? Okay, they didn't do that. And unfortunately, I'm sorry if you're offended and you're the tech that was working on this, because I know you watched the channel and I know you watch my YouTube and or my Facebook, so I'm sorry. But this is where you missed out, and this is where you have to change your whole mindset. If your first thought of a circuit problem on a car is to go and check all the fuses, you lose, you lost. The first thing you should do is replicate the concern. Confirm the customer's concern. That's step 1, confirm the customer's concern. Go pull some initial analysis data. Is the battery charged? Are the cables good? Those things. Then you go, okay, what codes are in the system? How does this certain system work? You must understand how it works from front to back. The entire system. You must understand that it looks at evap temperature, ambient air temperature sensor, pressure transducer for what kind of pressure is in the high side, what's in the system. Then it looks at other data and determines when to turn things on and off. And once you understand how the system works, then you start plugging in the symptoms. What problem am I having? And then while you're looking at the data, how could this fault happen? What things in the system could prevent this from working correctly? And then you go and test those. And then once you determine what the fault is, you then do a root cause analysis where you determine why did this fail? Was it just a failed part, or is there something that's going to cause this to be a repeat failure and over again? That's called the diagnostic process. We teach that here. When we do classes online, when you go to l1training.com and you look at classes, that's the first class you should take, is the diagnostic process. Okay? So now, this pressure transducer is showing 0 psi for this car. But if this pressure transducer was on a different car, it would read 106 psi for 90% of the vehicles out there. Okay? Now, that the pressure transducer is right there, and let me get a dimmer light setting for you. Hold on. Might be easier to see there. Okay, that pressure transducer has been replaced. The issue that we have been seeing on the Fusions is that they took a specific pressure transducer that was not scaled, that each volt is 100 psi. And Ford themselves even consolidated this part number incorrectly. If we buy a motorcraft sensor from the dealer for this car, it will read the same. It will read the same amount of volts and show 0 psi. Because this car, I don't remember exactly what the scale is for this, but it's not 100 psi per volt. So this needs to be at least 1.4 volts to even read about 80-ish psi. So the last car, we were unable to find a pressure transducer that was correct for this vehicle. Everyone has consolidated part numbers to that more popular transducer that's in the same body, takes the same connector, plugs on, screws on the same, but it doesn't work the same. So what we did is we created a harness that bleeds voltage from the 5 volt through a diode and a resistor to the signal to elevate the voltage. And because it's a linear transducer, because we put linear voltage with a resistor and a diode, we're able to fix this car by skewing the result of the sensor back to the PCM so it's more correct. It's correct enough for it to operate. The problem with this car is when we did that, which we actually, camera here in a second, we used a decade box. We applied resistance to that. That's not good enough. We also have to have a diode in there, otherwise it pulls the 5 volt down and skews the evap temperature sensor and a few other sensors that are on the 5 volt. But when we use a decade box, which is basically a bunch of resistors we can put in line, we can put X amount of resistance in until it reads correctly. And we basically attach a resistor from the 5 volt reference wire to the transducer to the signal wire and bleed voltage over until it comes up and reads pressure. Once the PCM sees that the refrigerant system has pressure, it will turn on the compressor. But right now it says there's 0 psi, so why would it turn the compressor on if there's no pressure? And that's what we're dealing with. And we had a car just a couple weeks ago that was the same thing. While we were running an electrical class, we had a 2-day hands-on electrical class here. A student that was here actually said they had a car with the same problem. We all kind of laughed. We were like, we know what the problem is. Let me help you out. And he emailed me. Andrew emailed me just the other day, and I told him what was going on. So we're going to build another harness for this car. But in data, you can see that. So I'm going to show you here in a second. I'm going to have to turn the camera off and hook up the... See, currently we're 1.06 volts is 0 psi. I'm going to hook up that resistor, come back, and show you that we can skew this data and then we can make the compressor turn on. Let me show you that it actually doesn't work. So keys on, engine's running, no error, requested yes, PCM says no, turn that relay off because there's 0 psi. And as you can see, no movement, high or low side at all. Okay, put you on pause for a second, hook up this decade box, and I'm gonna fix it for a second to show you what's going on. Okay, we're back. So I've been gone like 45 seconds. I just hooked up stuff. Let me show you what I did. I took the 2 leads off the decade box, and those are wired to, one's wired to the 5-volt circuit and one's wired to the signal wire. Okay, I went ahead and put on what I know kind of works, which is 340 ohms of resistance. So there's 340 ohms of resistance from 5-volt to signal. Kind of hard to understand, or gal. But now it's reading 1.9 volts, which is approximately 110 psi. That's kind of wrong. We need to get it more right, because we've actually got about 80 psi. So let's go ahead and give it 300 ohms. So just the 300 is kicked up. Let's go over. You can see that's 121. Oh, I went the other way. I need to add more resistance. My bad. My bad, my bad. Let's just go to 400. So I click the 300 off, the 40 off, click the 400 up. Now that's 95 psi, 96 at 1.8. Let's go lower because we got about 80 psi in there. So let's go another 100. Let's go to 500. Okay, 79.8. That's pretty close. We're going to call that good. Okay, so now I'm going to start this car, and you're going to see this go yes and this go on, and the compressor is going to be running. All right, turned it on. AC's on. I just heard the compressor clutch kick on. You see it? You can see the high side pressure is rising. Let's go look. Oh, compressor's on. High side's about 100, low side's almost 0. This system is also low on refrigerant, and that's what's going on right now. Let me shut this engine off. So as you can see, the pressure transducer is scaled incorrectly. If it was scaled correctly, this system would have worked like it did just now. The problem with this car is not a PCM. The problem with this car is not the software in the PCM. I promise you, if you update the software, it will not fix this car. I tried that on every other Fusion we did it on. The problem is the transducer that someone took off of this car that was correct and threw away or something was probably correct. I don't know what happened. If I was to speculate what happened with this car, I would assume that the AC pressure transducer that was on this car went bad, possibly, maybe, I don't know. And then someone replaced it because maybe they diagnosed it correctly, maybe not, I don't know. And when it was the wrong one, they were like, there must be something wrong with the compressor, and threw a whole kit on it. Or the AC compressor exploded, the compressor went bad for some totally different reason. Somebody put a kit on it, and, well, that doesn't make sense. I don't know. I don't know why a transducer got put on this, because if you're able to diagnose a transducer correctly, you would have immediately saw that this one is skewed, okay? No, there's not a restriction in the line. No, there's not. I promise, we've gone through everything on these. We've done a whole bunch of these. This is a widespread problem. I don't know what the issue is or why no one has the right transducer for them. But what I'm telling you is evidence-based diagnosis. Looking at data, understanding how systems work are what's going to fix cars. Okay, that's how you fix vehicles. If your mechanic is telling you, we have to try this part first, 99% of the time, when someone says that, means they don't know what they're doing. It's fraud by incompetence, okay? They're not doing it on purpose, most likely. It's because they lack the tooling, knowledge, training, all those things. It's rarely the tooling, by the way. My favorite thing when I show up to shops is they're like, oh, I just don't have all the tools you have. Let me tell you something. 99% of our diagnosis, electrical diagnosis, is something with an inexpensive scan tool. Like, this thing was given to me by a company, and they were like, try it out. I'm like, this works great. It does everything I need to do. It's small, it's handheld, it's lightweight, the battery lasts a long time. I wish it was wireless. That same company, TopDot, has tons of wireless tools. But that RD Diag Pro BT600, or what is this thing? RD Diag Pro. It's a something 600, something 900. RD Diag 900, I don't know. It's a fantastic tool. Somebody sent it to me and said, try it out. I said, it looks great. It's a TopDot tool, so it's good hardware, and it's got launch software. Works great. But when I show up to a shop to diagnose one, and they go, well, I just don't have your tools, I always tell them, give me your tools. I'll diagnose it with whatever tool you got. In our electrical class, Jeff, our guy in Oklahoma City, Jeff Barnes, fantastic technician, he loves handing me his $2.99 multimeter from from Harbor Freight, and I use it all the time. So I use a $3 test light and a $6 multimeter. And that's what I use to diagnose like 4 cars here in our 2-day hands-on class diagnosing the difficult problems that everyone had to send to us. It's because the lack of understanding, the lack of training, the lack of knowledge. Those things have to happen. Most technicians today, most, not all, there's great technicians out there. Fantastic, amazing technicians doing great diag work. Awesome. If you got one, keep them, right? Tell everyone about them. Make sure that guy stays successful. The problem is shops make more money by installing parts cars don't need. I own this shop here. I can make a ton more money putting parts on cars that they don't need. Technicians work flat rate, so for every part they install, they get paid for it. So the more parts they can install, the more money they make. Are most technicians like that? No. It's most of the time, it's ignorance more than malice, okay? It's just the way things have been. Unfortunately, 25, 30 years ago, cars had, you know, it's a little longer than that now, okay? So back in the 80s and 70s and 80s and 60s, 70s and 80s, cars had probably 15, 16, 17, 25 replaceable parts. An ignition system comprised of just a couple parts, replacing all of them was easy. So technicians became the people that were good at looking at something and replacing the part because they could see how it went on and see how it was taken off because it's a mechanical job. And then we thought, well, technicians are grease monkeys, they don't have to be smart. Counselors were out there telling people, oh, you're not good at math and not going to be a good engineer or anything. Go be an automotive technician. You could be stupid and do that. And then cars got really advanced really fast. Okay, and now we have a ton of the wrong people in the industry. And they're trying hard, but unfortunately, they need to go away or stop doing diag because it's getting kind of frustrating where we did 4,800 cars last year, and over 2,000 of those were diags, and all of them were for other shops. In Tulsa, Oklahoma. We're like in the backwoods, okay? Okay, Tulsa's a city, but you know what I mean. Anyways, I'm ranting heavily here. It's frustrating me. It's getting frustrating because I've got people calling our shop saying, hey, I need to come bring my car to you. Oh, you guys are really expensive. I don't have any money left. I already spent $2,200 on my car here and there. And it was on stuff they didn't need. So now they're mad at me because I want to charge twice as much money as the last guy to actually fix the car. Who cares how cheap the last guy was? He didn't fix it. Why are you calling me? Well, because my car's still broke. Then what does it matter what the last guy charged? I go to shops all the time and tell them they need to put an OEM alternator on a car. And they go, but that's $600. I only paid $129 for this one. I'm like, but it doesn't work. Who cares? I tell you what, for every person out there that's got an aftermarket alternator that doesn't work, I'll sell you one for half the price. It also won't work. So who gives a crap what it cost? Anyways, I'm just super frustrated if you can't tell. I love all you people. Please give me some love in the comments. Also, if you were just here to try to find a silver bullet and you're mad because I've just been ranting this whole time, I love you. Have a great day. Put the thumbs down. Guess what? On the YouTube algorithm, a thumbs down and a thumbs up, same thing. It's just engagement. Who cares? Maybe one day I'll get enough views to double my amount of money and I'll make almost $200 a month from YouTube. And then I can quit my day job, right? I mean, who else is going to fix all these stupid cars, right? Anyways, I love you people. Like, subscribe, comment. You want to learn stuff like this? Want to become a better technician? Or, I don't know. I may not be able to teach you anything. If you're a great technician now, you probably know this stuff. This stuff's pretty simple. This is just electrical. Check out L1training.com. We've got 60, almost 70 hours of content on programming, diag, keys, immobilizer, ADAS, all kinds of stuff. Got a bunch of cool programming guides. You know, what use modules work, what ones don't work, all that kind of stuff. If you're a DIYer and you try to sign up for that, I'm going to tell you, unfortunately, the amount of money investing in tools and equipment to do programming, probably out of your reach. But if you're looking for some electrical skills, it's not that bad, man. Or gal, not that bad at all. The amount of equipment to test that stuff is pretty inexpensive until you need a 4-channel oscilloscope. And then you're in at a couple grand. But, again, I love all you people. I'm sorry you have to see me this way, so frustrated and mad, but this situation is getting old fast. Like, I'm going to keep doing it, but I'm just going to have to keep raising my prices to these other shops until, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. Love all you people. We'll see you next time. Have a great day. I think I'm going to go jump out of a plane or something. Like skydiving, not hurt myself. I love myself way too much. Have you seen what it takes to get this big? That's a lot of Whataburger.